So, we're gonna have a chat while I pry off my fingernails. Because as much as I really like them, one of them was starting to come loose. I know this sounds ridiculous, but I know as soon as it popped off, I was gonna want to rip them all off. So I'm taking this opportunity to pry them off because they were like $7 at Walgreens. They're not gonna last anyway. But they were fun. They made me feel good. So I fit a stereotype clearly. Um, my hair is the way it is. I wear a lot of plaid. I wear skinny jeans and combat boots and a beanie almost 24/7, which, in my defense, it is quite cold out. And when you don't have hair on the sides of your head, you get very cold very easily. Ow! But I do fit a stereotype. I fit the lesbian stereotype, and this is why, before I had even come out to myself, before I even knew I was gay, I was thought to be and called gay, and no one was really surprised when I came out. There was one occasion specifically, and I can tell you what I was wearing because I went and reassessed it. I was wearing a black t-shirt, unisex, because it was a show shirt, and like neon pink pants because that's how I dressed back then. And I was hanging out with some friends in downtown Naperville, and suddenly I hear these voices going, "Lesbo, Lesbo." And I turn, and there's this group of teenage guys on the other side of a chain link fence. And I just kind of turn around, and I'm like, "What did you call me?" They said, "I called you lesbian." I was like, "Why?" And this dude kind of goes off, and he's like, "Well, I mean, like, you're dressed like a dude, and you have short hair. I'm just saying, like, you make a really good case for being a lesbian." And I don't know what else I was going to say because my dear old friend Maria, like, grabbed my hand and was like, "Yeah, we're lesbian girlfriends. Do you have a problem with that?" And they were like, "No, no, 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 of course not." So that, like, bugged me at the time because, like, these guys who don't even know me thought they had the right to yell this at me. Like, I had no clue who these people were. They had no clue who I was. We weren't even doing anything. They weren't even doing anything. They just saw me and said, "Hey, we need to let this person know that we think she's a homosexual." Yes. Yes, this is a good idea. Right, dudes? Yes, let's do it. And that mindset is ridiculous to me. And it's happened a couple of times where when I do come out to people, they'll be like, "I mean, yeah," and you look it, or sometimes people just assume right away. And then some people are like, "Wow, really? I just never would have guessed." And for a little while, I was kind of like, "Really? You didn't guess?" But now I'm like, I really like that perspective because, as progressive as we've become as a culture and a generation, one of the big things that we struggle with is assumptions. Girls with short hair are lesbians. Guys who are in theater are gay. Things like that. And this is just on sexuality. Trans stuff is more complicated, and I'm not super qualified to talk about that, so I'm just going to focus on being gay. And even actually, bisexuality is usually thought of as either you're gay and you're not willing to fully accept it yet, or you're straight and you're going through an experimental phase. Either way, it's not really acknowledged as being a legitimate identity, which sucks because it is just legitimate as anything. Don't even get me started on asexuality. They may as well not exist to most people. So are you like a plant? Do you like reproduce without having sex? Really? And I don't know, it just kind of bugs me, especially because then people who don't fit into the mold, it's like, "Are you sure? Because, like, you're awful pretty to be a lesbian." And I'm like, what the frick does that mean? Only ugly people can be lesbians? Or, like when dudes who play sports are gay, it's like, "Whoa, you're gay? Wow, but you're so good at basketball." It makes absolutely no sense to me. And I was lucky enough to grow up in a very, very accepting household. I have a vivid memory one day of asking my mom, like, Mom, why do your friends from college, Angie and Mabel, do everything together? She said, well, they're dating. And I was like, oh. Because, you know, she always referred, oh, Angie and Mabel went on vacation. Angie and Mabel sent us a Christmas card. And it never clicked for me. And when it did click, it was just like, oh, cool. So it floors me to go from that to people who ask, like, when did you, like, become gay? And I'm like, I'm going to go with May 9th, 1998. That was when I started my gay. And it all comes down to kind of like how you were raised, but also, actually, no, I take it back. It's not how you were raised. Because my mom grew up in a small town in Iowa. Now, that's like cookie cutter, oh, they're all conservative and racist and blah, blah, blah. Which my mom isn't. Maybe it's because she went to college in Southern California. I don't know. But, you know, she roomed with a black woman, and she roomed with a lesbian, and she never had an issue with it. I mean, there was a certain ignorance. Sorry, Mom, calling you out, but you have to admit, just because of, like, not knowing something, which, I mean, if you grow up in a small town in Iowa, yeah, you're not going to have a lot of exposure, but the fact of the matter is you can still approach it without hatred. So there is still an element of, like, how she was raised, because her parents taught her not to hate people that were different than her. And I think that's just a big part of it, you know? It's like, see people for who they are, not who you think they are. I should copyright that. It's probably already done. I don't know, it's just something that I was thinking about. Stereotypes irritate me in general. And, you know, to have lesbos shouted at me over a fence when I was 13, and, you know, I was about to start my gay crisis, it's not like the healthiest thing. It's not good for anybody. And it hurt my feelings. So, if I had to have a message to this, I would say, don't make assumptions about people, and just ask. If you really want to know, ask. Because you know something? The only people who will get upset about you asking for clarity on their sexuality or gender are cisgender heterosexuals. I can guarantee any trans or non-binary person that you ask for specification on their pronouns, they'll be like, oh yeah, sure, use these pronouns. But if you ask a cis-het person, like, hey, just so I know, like, are you gay, or what are your pronouns? They'll be like, I'm not gay. What do I seem like I'm gay? Like, why would I use any other pronouns? Like, clearly, I'm a whatever. Don't assume. And also, if someone asks you gender, just tell them. They're trying to be polite. They literally are. And I pried off all my fingernails. Yay! Have a good day, night, afternoon, evening, morning, etc.